Hello YouTube. Take a look at this nice little mini PC that I got here. This is from practically 2008-ish. It's an AOpen DE965 Pro. Very tiny. It's a very nice I/O on the back though. It's very decent as media center, I should say. It's HDMI, dual VGA out, Gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB ports on the back, audio jacks and a serial port for those who still need that. And on the front we have 2 USB ports and a very big power button. This is where an optical drive would go, if it would support one. This is pretty much a bare-bones system. You could basically order the modules that you wanted, because the motherboard inside actually comes with a ton of different features that you could use if you had the appropriate cables and connectors and whatnot. But yeah, so it's the AOpen DE965 Pro. Has a small motherboard in it with a mobile Core 2 Duo CPU. It's a T7500, actually the same CPU that's in my Dell Inspiron 1525, which is nice. It's 2.5 gigs of RAM, got it with 1. I decided to downgrade the Dell Inspiron for now to 2 gigs of RAM. And upgrade this to 2.5 with a 2 gig and a 512 meg stick, because that's all I had in terms of DDR2 SODIMMs. So I had to do the old switcheroo, and that's what I did. So, what is this used for? Well, for now I'm using this for testing my Minecraft server. It does get pretty hot still, but yeah, I think I might actually, I wanted to take this downstairs and put it on a shelf above my NAS, but I think this thing gets a little bit too warm to work in that room, or at least in that cabinet, I should say. So yeah, you know what? Let's actually just dig into this thing, and I'll show you its internals. So first of all, we have to take out a couple screws in the back. With my torque screwdriver. There's one of them. Doop-de-doop-de-doop. Slides all over the place. That's what you get when you're working with the crappy camera angles. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. So now pretty much the top just lifts off, and you have to disconnect the connectors for the front panel. Which I will not do in this video for the sake that these cables are freaking flimsy. I had to take them off to replace the thermal paste of the CPU cooler. By the way, when I say replace thermal paste, I actually mean apply thermal paste, because there was none. No wonder this thing shut itself off after less than 5 minutes every time. But yeah, let's take this screw out here as well. There we go. Put that aside. And here on the back is another one. You can see this caddy thing lift up. It's still very warm because I just shut it down. There we go. Ouch, I almost hurt myself. There we go. Here is the connector that goes into the motherboard, so it's pretty much a riser card. On the bottom we find the hard drive, which is a 2.5-inch Seagate 80 gig SATA hard drive. It's a Momentous, still works just fine. This hole there is a cutout for the CPU vent, or fan I should say. Some nice foam padding. So pretty much, let's see here. So you have a connector here for an optical drive. That's an IDE optical drive, by the way. The connector is here, but you can't actually take off that blanking plate unless you, I think, use some very heavy force, because I do actually have an optical drive that could fit this, but I think that's going to be a case modding project, sort of, because, yeah, like I said, I don't think it really comes off all that well. I think it's actually more or less maybe even welded to the case. I haven't actually checked. But yeah, So these are the internals, the guts of the AOpen DE965 Pro. Here are of course your two SODIMM slots. Here is a connector for a mini PCI Express for a wireless card. It does not have the antennas or anything, so I can't really put one in. I wanted to, but where are you going to find cables for something like this? It's pretty old by now, so it's pretty impossible. Here is that special connector. And wow, the second VGA is actually from a separate connector on the motherboard, which is interesting. But yeah, here's the heatsink with the fan. You can see it still has a little bit of dust in it, but the heatsink itself is clear. It's completely clean on the inside, so that should not be a cause of the heat issues. So, like I said, I replaced the thermal paste, or actually applied thermal paste to the north bridge and the CPU, and temperatures went down significantly. Before, temperatures would gradually rise up to about the point where it would just shut itself down. Even during Windows installation, it actually shut down once. So I disabled the thermal cutout, so I could install Windows at least. So that was a little interesting project. But yeah, now it's significantly cooler. You can definitely notice that the CPU is getting a little bit warm, because the bottom of the case, which is of course metal, actually gets quite hot, almost to the point where you could actually burn yourself. So in typical workloads, the CPU would get up to about 65 to 70 degrees, so perfectly normal for a laptop CPU, really. Just that hardware monitor actually reports the temperatures to be like 56 to 60 degrees per core, but I'm not quite sure if that's actually accurate, but because the CPU die apparently is about 70 degrees at the same time, so it's interesting. But yeah, so these are the guts of the machine. CMOS battery is original, still working just fine. I think this machine has been used quite a bit. So, yeah. Let's reassemble the thing. Let's see if I can actually get that do that properly. There we go. Push down on the ZIF connector. At least I think that's what it is. Herp-tee-derp-tee-derp. What you gotta do? You know what? I'm gonna put it back together. I'll put it up on a test bench, and yeah, let's see if it works. Actually, when I was reassembling it, I was just looking at the optical drive bay and how it should fit, and I pretty much just poked this thing at the blanking plate and it popped right off. So yeah. So that's good. I've got an optical drive. Don't know if it works yet, but this thing came out of an old USB external DVD-ROM drive. But it's very handy to have a DVD drive on these, because quite frankly, I was trying to actually get to Windows XP on this, actually XP embedded, to get as low as a memory footprint as I could get on Windows, at least, because if this thing is going to be a Minecraft server, I don't really want it to be running Linux, for the simple reason that it's too much work to get it to automatically load the Minecraft server on startup. I know how I could do it, but it's too time consuming. I just want to drag it to the startup folder, and just every time I run this thing, I just want it to boot up, load the Minecraft server and hardware monitor, and that'll be the end of the story. So yeah, now this time I'm actually going to hook it up, and we're going to boot it up and see what it's like. Great stuff. Alright, there she is. Let's boot her up. Oh yeah. At least the optical drive is getting power. And there she is, booting up. There we go. Get ourselves a little bit of an angle here so you can see what's going on the screen. Let's see there. There we go. Boots up very quickly, as you can see. Sorry for my creaky chair. I don't think it's going to focus on the screen though. Is it? No, it's not. Okay, fine. If that's how you want to play it, phone, that's fine. Microserver is loaded. Temperatures are steadily rising. So yeah, it's running Windows Vista Home Basic. Intel Core 2 Duo, T7500, 2.2 GHz, 2.5 gigs of RAM, 32-bit of course. Let's take a look at the memory footprint for this. It's using about a gig now, 860 megs. That jumps up and down according to how the Minecraft server is being loaded up. So that's just fine. Yeah, let's see if I can find a DVD of sorts so I can see whether it will actually boot off or something. Or well, not really boot, but just, you know, if it can read it at all. Let's see, got a Tiger, another rescue disk for Apple, Windows 8.1 Enterprise. Of course, a fully legit version, as you could probably tell. There we go. Open it up. Slap it in. Well, let's see if it will come up. There it is. Boom. Oh, that's nice. Alrighty then. That's good to know. So, hope you enjoyed this little video on my little Minecraft server, or well, pretty much just the AOpen DE965 Pro. Very little machine, very nice little machine as well. And, you know, if the Minecraft stuff doesn't actually go through, then, well, I think I might just turn it into a hack mini or something. And, see what I can do with it in that regard. Should be an interesting little project, that's for sure. But if it's just as easy as my Dell was, then should be fun. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. I thank you all for watching.